All right, mic check. Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2 3 4. Mic check 1 2. All right, we're good. What's up, guys? Happy Tuesday. What's going on? December 1st. We are here. It is officially the Christmas season. As you can see behind me, I felt like Clark Griswold this morning trying to put these lights up, and I'll probably be readjusting them because they're not didn't do a fantastic job, but it is what it is. So, yeah, again, guys, hope you're all doing well. Taking your questions, comments, call 843-790-3377. I will go ahead and open up the phone line. We've got the Mike Bobo today. Well, free. If you did not see podcast drop this morning, Alex McGrath and I talking about everything, the Georgia game, Kentucky, the coaching search, all that good stuff, guys. So, again, appreciate you all tuning in. Happy December. It's here. The last month of 2020. I know for a lot of us, we're all very relieved this month this year, I should say, is mercifully coming to an end. So hope you guys are all doing well here on this Tuesday. God, it's the coldest it's been in so long. It's so freaking cold outside. So yeah. So I will update you guys and show you some tweets on things that I've heard from my sources. And we can go from there. You guys again with your questions, everything else. But again, hope you're all having a fantastic Tuesday. Open up the phone lines now. That's 843-790-3377. 843-790-3377. And I will go ahead and post it here in the chat if you need it there as well. Again, guys, you can see happy December. Christmas season is here. We've got the Nutcracker. We've got the lights. I felt like Clark Griswold this morning trying to put these lights up. It was a flat-out mess, and I'll probably be readjusting them because they're not exactly perfect right now, but, you know, it is what it is. So here we are here on a Tuesday, guys. Appreciate y'all tuning. Looks like we already got a text in. You can also text the number, by the way. If you do want to text, if you don't want to leave your comment here, you can text in on that phone line. Let's see. Okay, text says, is the name Neal Brown catching more wind than Shane Beamer? I don't think so. No, I've seen Neal Brown's name pop up. I don't think it's catching more wind, if you will. So. But okay, so I put this on Twitter just a second ago. I'll tell you guys what I'm hearing. What it sounds like is the top two guys are Billy Napier and Shane Beamer. The difference in the two financial-wise, which I think South Carolina, again, you'd be remiss to think the Gamecocks aren't going to try to save some money in this process, right? Like financials is going to play some sort of a role. It sounds like Billy Napier wants $5 million per for 5 years, and he wants his assistants to be some of the highest paid in the SEC. Versus Shane Beamer, which it was reported by Sports Talk SC, by the way, on Sunday night. The rumor is he wants $3 million per year for 4 years and wants to give that extra money to his assistants. I think South Carolina is probably going to side with the cheaper option. And Shane Beamer's reasoning, they say, behind that, one, he's never been a head coach. So I think leverage would be tough for him. But he wants to give his assistants more money because he knows if they win, everybody will get paid. So, and I respect that. Also, you see the sign today, you can't spell sucks without UK. It's UK week, so screw Kentucky. Mike Hall, I heard we'll have a decision by Friday, announced it on Monday. That sounds about right. You know, from what I heard, I think it'll be sometime next week for sure. I think definitely sometime next week. Brother, what's going on? RJ Kelly, I'm down with Beamer. Yeah, I am as well. Again, I'm down with Beamer. Yeah, I'm down with Beamer 110%. So. Yeah, listen, I don't really like. Here's the thing. I will not knock any Gamecock fan for being skeptical of the Beamer hire. Because, like, I understand there's plenty of reasons to be cautious. You know what I mean? Because he's never been a head coach. Like, there are cons to him. There are cons to Beamer, just like there's cons to every other head coaching hire out there. I don't understand people's lack of willingness to take a risk in this scenario because I don't know, you know, I just know my entire life was a Gamecock fan. Again, I didn't start pulling for the Gamecocks heavily until I was like 11 years old, which was like 2002. I've only known South Carolina football as having 2 legendary head coaches and a washout from Florida. Has South Carolina ever taken a risk in regards to, was Sparky Woods a risk? Was Brad Scott? Like, I don't really know. You guys can fill me in. If that's where it's coming from, then I'll understand completely. But I don't, like, what is the harm in taking a risk here? I don't get my mind. I don't understand it. For the people that are, and again, there are cons to hiring. There's cons to every single hire there. Like I said yesterday on social media, you know, just because you've won at Louisiana or Coastal or Troy, that has no guarantee you're going to win at South Carolina. Now, I've seen a lot of people saying, "Oh, you don't pay this huge buyout, and you don't get rid of Will Muschamp to go get somebody to be a head coach." You do if he's the guy. You do if you think he's the guy. So I mean, yeah. And somebody says Brad Scott was. Well, South Carolina football is not what it was then when Brad Scott was hired. I mean, it's just not. Like we can't sit here and pretend like Gamecock football is what it was back in 1998. Savannah Webster, are we competing with Vandy for jobs? I highly doubt it. I don't think so. I don't think so. So, looks like we got a call. We're going to jump to the phone lines here. Oop. Hey, Josh, what's up, man?
What's going on, Chris? You doing all right?
Yeah, I'm doing well. How are you?
Pretty good. At first I wasn't really, too ecstatic about Beamer, but after hearing Lattimore and Swearinger and all of our past players that have had success endorse him, they've been on the sidelines with him, and I mean, for them to all like his energy with the success they had, I mean, it's hard not to get behind him, I think.
Yeah, it's intoxicating, right? I mean, it just is. I was talking about that yesterday with somebody. Just saying that normally I think in a coaching search, like that wouldn't be that big of a deal or that big of a driving force like it is in this one. But I don't know, man. Again, when you're having the best players to ever wear the garnet and black come out and say that, and they all know him and played for him or whatever, maybe were recruited by him, it's definitely intoxicating. I don't think it should necessarily be the lead force, if you will, but it's hard to ignore. It is hard to ignore because, in my opinion, it's like unless you have a candidate that's just head and shoulders the better option. Like if you're Tanner Cass on the search committee and there's a candidate, it's like this is the guy we have to hire, and you know what? We'll deal with the players on an individual basis, and we'll just tell them that. Unless that guy exists, I don't know. How can you pick somebody else? You know what I mean? Like, because if it's all just splitting hairs, you might as well go with the guy that has this massive support of your best players to ever play in school history. I mean, it's just, it's hard to ignore. So, yeah, I mean, I'd agree with you.
Yeah, and I truly believe that. I really do truly believe that Beamer, with his financial situation, I really do think that he is somewhat trying to help our school. I really don't think that it's all about a business deal for him because he's got some.
Yeah, no, I think so as well. Yeah, no, I agree with you 110%. And I think South Carolina. I mean, listen, they're gonna have to factor in financial. You pay a coach basically what 13, 15 million to get out.
Crazy not to think about that right now. I mean, Muschamp. Look at $13 million. That's a heavy buyout.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, financials is going to come into play, and I think somebody just made the point here in the chat. I mean, I will say I think Billy Napier is kind of asking for a lot for a guy that's never had a big time coaching job. So I mean, he's asking for more than Muschamp was getting. I mean. So yeah, kind of that's tough
to really proven. I mean, I don't think he's proven himself worth $5 million a year at this point.
Yeah, I mean, and that's my whole point too. Is that when people freak out, let me just put it this way: like I look at Beamer, Napier, Chadwell, Neal Brown. I look at them all kind of the same way. You know what I mean? Like they're all a risk. The upside is there, but they're all a risk. It could go really, really well. It could go okay or go terribly. I mean, with all of them. So my biggest thing is this: like I don't mind Gamecock fans not being ecstatic if Beamer gets the job, or if Napier gets it, or if Chad. Like I will not knock a South Carolina fan for pointing out the shortcomings. If you're like, if he's never been a head coach, that's just a fact. That's not somebody trying to. But I'm just not going to be the one to tear down really any of those guys if they get the job. Like I guess I'm choosing to be happy and I'm choosing to be positive and optimistic. And I guess maybe people, because they saw my rant on Fire Will Muschamp and, they're expecting me to have some, if we hire this guy, it's going to blow a gasket. It's like, I was the same way with Muschamp, dude, in the sense like, I'm not coming out of the gates coming for you. Like I'm going to give you the opportunity. Let's win some games. Let's try to win some games. Like, hey, if we see after 4 years, we need to change, it is what it is. But I'm not going to damn the guy from the second he gets the job. The only guy I'd probably feel like that with is Jeff Monken, which we're not going to hire. So I'm not worried about that.
Yeah, and I've been I'm 33, and I've been a Gamecock since I could walk. So coming from a fan man like that, it's like at this point I have been hearing since like year 2 of Muschamp so much fire and negativity, and I get where that came from. I mean, just coming from a diehard fan, though, I think every fan needs to hear, like, just stop with the negativity. Let's everybody get on board and let's support this guy and let's see what he does with it, so that at the end of the day, he can't come back and say that he didn't have the support of us. 100%, I think we should all be all in for this guy and support him fully 100% and pack the stadium out, and let's see what he can do with everything.
Well, I think fans will. I mean, I think it's, everybody's throwing names out, giving their opinion. I can guarantee, I really feel that whoever gets hired, I think Gamecock fans are going to get behind 100%, especially if it is a guy like Beamer and you still have, of course, you're still going to have the Swearingers and the Melvin Ingrams and the Marcus Lattimores and all these greats that are backing him. I think fans are going to. I think fans will rally around him. I think South Carolina, again, kind of what I said. I think that's the characteristic trait of South Carolina fans. Like, I think South Carolina fans are going to give the guy a chance. I think they are. Yeah. They're not going to damn him coming out of the jump. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think they're gonna be talking down on Shane Beamer all offseason. You know what I mean? Like, I know it's, people go back and forth in the coaching search, and I've seen people on Twitter too. They say, I'd rather have Napier over Beamer, but if Beamer is the guy and he gets hired, I'll fully support him 110% and hope that I'm wrong. And I think that's what most Gamecock fans. I think that'll be the mentality of most South Carolina fans. I don't think it'll be some negative toxic. The only reason it got that way with Muschamp, man, you just lost so much. I mean, you lost so much there at the end. I mean, so
you got the wind knocked out of you every week, and then having to watch it, we just didn't even have any more wind to continue getting knocked out of us. And
I think fans were really supportive of Muschamp going into that up to that fourth year. I mean, I know I was 100% on the Muschamp bandwagon until the UNC game.
Get drugged.
Yeah.
And I mean, but I don't know. I like the fact that Connor Shaw's growing underneath whoever's coming in too. And I think they would be wise to let him grow, because he's also got a lot of support with our fan base. And do you think, man, I've seen where they talked to Shi Smith and he's leaving it up in the air. He's actually, I think, considering seeing who the head coach is before he declares whether he's going for the draft or not.
I think he'll probably be gone, to be totally honest with you.
I do too.
I'll be honest with you. If I was advising Shi, I mean, listen, I'd love as a fan, I'd love him to come back, but probably, I think it's probably best for him to go. I mean, he's, I don't know how much better of a year he'd have next year. I mean, maybe he'd have a better year. I don't know. But, no, I mean, he's already declared for the Senior Bowl. So, I mean, I think he's probably gone at this point. So, but, I don't hold it against him at all. I mean, he's had a great year and he's given us all he had. And, I think that's his right. Obviously I wish him nothing but the best. Like I said, I mean, he's, I think all he does coming back next year probably is risk injury. I mean, unless he just loves being in college that much. I think he's probably gone. So, but we'll see. You never know. I mean, like you said, it depends. If you get the right guy in there, I don't know. So,
and last thing, one real quick, I see a lot of people worried about Harris transfer, and I don't think he's going anywhere.
No, I don't know. I think we'll be fine. I think Harris will be back. I actually think Marshawn Lloyd will be back as well. From what things I've heard and people I've talked to, I think both those guys will be back. So, and that's another thing too, man. It's, you get that new coach in there. I mean, God, it wouldn't matter who it was. I mean, you're going to tell those guys you're going to be huge parts of what we do offensively, no question. So
absolutely,
whether Lloyd or Harris the one, I mean, it's going to be 1A and 1B next year, I think, really. So, which is exciting.
Yeah.
So,
all right, man. Well, I appreciate you taking the call. I give somebody else a chance, and like I said, man, happy for you and everything you got going on, and I can't wait to see your program grow over the next few years with this new coach.
Yeah, and I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited. I'm really excited for this new era, and it should be a lot of fun. So hopefully we're winning a lot of ball games. That's all I want. So, but appreciate the call, man. Appreciate the call for sure.
All right, Chris. You have a good one.
You too. Thanks, boss. Appreciate it. Yeah, great stuff. Great conversation. See, we got the text here. Somebody else texting in says Shane Beamer or Billy Napier the likely two candidates to be the head coach of South Carolina. Yes, from what I'm hearing, Shane Beamer has been around his dad, Steve Spurrier, and Lincoln Riley. Yeah, Shane's been around a bunch of great coaches. Bunch of great coaches for sure. So, let's see. We're going to tune in, by the way, 12:30 to the Mike Bobo presser. Savannah Webster, you ask a very good question. Since somebody already has Shane Train shirts, do you have some? I've had Shane Train shirts pending for like a week now. So I have them. I've been waiting for the opportune moment to drop them. I haven't done so yet because I wanted to be pretty 99.9% sure he was getting the job, because I would have felt silly to drop him and him not get the job. But yes, there are going to be Shane Train shirts. I think you guys will really, really like them. So just, excuse me, sorry. Just stay tuned for that. Yeah, just stay tuned for that. So let's see. Eric Fryer, third and long, Charlie Strong. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's see. Pat, any chance it's not Beamer at this point? I think it's very likely it's Beamer. I mean, you never know in these coaching searches, man. All of a sudden, somebody's name pops up and it catches fire, and you just never know. I mean, when you look at the last coaching search South Carolina had, you heard names like Tom Herman and Kirby Smart, and it ended up being Will Muschamp. So you just never know. Yeah, this Shane Train shirt that we'll be dropping, though, is probably going to be your new favorite T-shirt. I know it's going to be my new favorite T-shirt. Also, that T-shirt we dropped today, guys, get more of. The wheels on the bus go round and round. That is an awesome fire T-shirt. TSUS.store if you want to grab it. Again, guys, 15 minutes we'll be tuning into Mike Bobo's presser. We will be tuning into Mike Bobo's presser to see what Mike has to say ahead of Saturday's Kentucky game. Steven, any idea who Beamer would hire on his staff? It's tough to say, and I think the dream OC hire you'd probably want is a Garrett Riley from SMU. But there's so many names, though. I mean, it's really tough for me to say exactly which names or which guy specifically South Carolina would get. But that's going to be very interesting to watch. Going to be very, very interesting to watch for sure, because I think the coordinators, especially if you hire Beamer, that's going to be extremely important. So let's see. Paul Yarborough, who do you think is the better recruiter, Napier or Beamer? I'd probably say Beamer. Beamer's done it at a more high level, but I don't know. That's tough. That's tough to say. So obviously what Billy Napier's done at Louisiana and, what he's done at Louisiana as far as winning games and developing talent, I think that speaks volumes for sure. Savannah Webster, where's Joe Moorhead? I know he got fired at Mississippi State. I want to say he's in the NFL. I don't really know. Tuning in to watch the Sling Blade presser. Yes, indeed. Let's see. Thomas Walker, I have a former player from the Spurrier era married into my family. He said that Beamer has the ability to connect with recruits in a way that no other coach he's talked to, and this player chose South Carolina over Beamer Sr. at Virginia Tech. Nice. Yeah, I mean, listen, and that's what you hear from all former players. That's what you hear from all those guys, how relatable he is, how energetic he is, how enthusiastic he is, and how he just relates to players, and that's what makes him a really good recruiter. He's a fun guy to play for. And you heard Terrence Campbell talk about that a lot as far as guys want to have fun. It needs to be fun. So let's see. Let's see. Yeah, I think there's a chance, though, the coaching search. I think there's a chance if we know who the head coach is by Friday. I mean, I think it's possible. I mean, I would probably say more likely next Monday or Tuesday. But you never know how quickly do they want to move. You know what I mean? I'd be down to know this week. Heck, start to get on the recruiting trail. Start to get some of these recruits back. So. Let's see. Toby says, if Beamer is hired, do you think he'll be allowed to bring his own OC and DC, or will Tanner make that hire? Now, I think the coach will pick. I think it's 100%. Got another text here on the text line. Do you see Beamer being able to pull any transfers with him from Oklahoma to Carolina? From Sean O'Brien. Appreciate it. I mean, I think the transfer portal is going to be big for South Carolina, again, because you see how this recruiting class is going. You know that you need playmakers. You know you need weapons. You need athletes. And with the transfer portal being what it is, hell yeah, bring those guys. Because I know there's probably a slew of wide receivers at Oklahoma that ain't seeing the field, that are talented athletes, that would start at South Carolina. There ain't no question. So bring them on. Bring them on. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it. Yeah, I'm excited for a new era, man. I'm excited for a next chapter. I'm excited for the next chapter either way. Well, because I think that's what people see me talking about Shane Beamer and, all this different stuff. listen, I whether it's Beamer, Napier, Cadwell, Neil Brown, which I think that's the realistic pool right there. That's the short list. I'm excited, if nothing else, for the next chapter of Carolina football. And I'm going to give the next guy a chance. I'm going to give the next guy an opportunity. You know what I mean? So it's not like one of these things where if they don't hire Beamer, I'm not going to approve the next head coaching hire. Like, I will be happy either way. I'm excited for this new era. And I'm going to give the next coach the opportunity. Hey, let's see what you can do. Roll the dice. Why not? I don't understand why people don't want to roll the dice, by the way. I don't get that. Dude, you're a South Carolina program. What tradition do we have to uphold? We shouldn't roll the. We should be rolling the dice every time. We should. Why not? What do you have to lose is my question. What do you have to lose? Because I've seen people, oh my God, you're going to be doing this again in 4 or 5 years. Oh my gosh. That's for any coach that doesn't win. It doesn't matter who you hire. If he's not winning in 5 years, you're going to fire him. That's college football today. So I don't get that. I don't know. I think this is the perfect time for South Carolina to roll the dice on a guy. I say, why not? RJ Kelly, damn, we might can get some Texas, Oklahoma kids if Beamer comes. This is recruiting pipeline will be crazy. I agree. Yeah, I agree. Be awesome. Chad Godwin. So would you like the Beamer hire? I would. Yeah, I'd be a big fan of it. I'd be a big fan. All aboard the Shane train. Yep, all aboard. Rodney Creel. So maybe I should drop the Shane train shirts. I actually was looking at my store. I think if you order by, I'll have to look at that again. I'll let you guys know, and depending on when you have to order by for the Shane train shirts, because, I mean, again, I think it's going to be Shane Beamer. I mean, let's be honest. If you guys want me to go ahead and drop them, I will. If you guys want me, I was kind of waiting because I didn't want to get too far ahead of myself. I've had these things ready for over a week. I mean, and the design, here, screw it. I'll show you guys the design. I don't even care. I'll show you guys the design. If you want to see the design, I'll show you the design. These things are fire, by the way. These things are, I mean, your next favorite t-shirt, put it that way. So, let's see. Yeah, so this is the store. The shirt is not available on the store yet because, like I said, I was trying to not get too far ahead of myself. But, I don't know, with kind of the shipping and all that, you might want to get it in time for Christmas. We might want to go ahead and okay. So these are going to be available in black, garnet, and white. Right now, I've got it available in white. Let's see. How do I get a bigger version? We got the presser in 7 minutes. I'm going to try to hurry up here and do this. Show you guys this. Where do I view? Okay, here we go. All right, I think you guys are going to be a fan. Put it that way. Okay, here we go. All right. So again, these are going to be available in white, garnet, and black. So I don't care if you guys see. Nobody's trying to steal my design in here or anything. Whatever it is, what it is. Here we go. All right. Boom. There you go. That is what the t-shirt's going to look like, or what it does look like. It's literally pending in the store. I'll zoom it in too, so you can get like an idea of what it says. Kind of a play on the cockabooses. Bada bing, bada boom. There you go. So I may drop those later this week. If you guys want me to go ahead and drop them, we can go ahead and do it. I may drop them tomorrow. I was kind of trying to wait. I'm going to have those in white, garnet, and black. But if you guys want me to go ahead and drop them, we can go ahead and drop them later this week, whatever. And hey, if he doesn't get hired, I guess it can be a collector's item. I don't know. I guess it can be a collector's item. So, oh yeah, I got to fix that. There is a typo in that one. Yeah, I forgot. That's the rough draft. That's the rough draft. Thank you for pointing that out. So, yeah, I'll get them all. I'll get them all put up again. There won't be a board will be fixed. A board will be fixed. This is a rough draft. That's why this isn't posted. So, yeah, we'll get those probably out Wednesday or Thursday. So, yes, I know board is misspelled. My God, yes, I get it. Yes, Yes, that's the rough draft. It will get fixed. It will get fixed. It will get fixed. So let's go online really quickly. We've got Bobo's presser coming up in 5 minutes. Let's take this call. Hey, yo, Justin, what's up, man?
So definitely drop the Shane Beamer train T-shirts. I'm definitely just asked my wife early Christmas.
Yeah, well, I'll probably end up dropping them later this week for sure because I think I was kind of waiting for the opportune moment, but I definitely think at this point it's kind of inevitable that inevitable I should say that he's gonna get the job. So, but yeah.
Speaking of Shane, man, I'm 32, so I caught the end of the Holtz era growing up, and then I had, sprayers. So I've been with us from the fall to the rise and now to the fall again. And I think with Shane, he's going to be a good coach. But one thing that the whole fan base has to understand as a whole is we're not Alabama. We're not LSU. We're not Notre Dame. We're not Michigan. We don't have the history. We don't have the traditions. We're still a kid compared to these giants in college football, no matter what division they play in. So we can roll the dice. We can afford to take a gamble on Beamer. And with Lattimore, with Shaw, with Ellington, with guys who played up under him and had fun playing with him, that's the most important thing about football is it's a contact sport. It's a family sport, but you got to be able to have fun. And if you're not having fun, you're not going to get results. And look at what he did with the guys who recruited to play defense while he was there at the linebacker position. We had great linebackers when Beamer was there. So obviously the guy knows his game.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like I said, I think this is the perfect time to roll the dice. Why not? Like you said, what do we have to lose? So I'd feel good about it. And dude, if nothing else with Beamer, the culture is going to return and you're going to have the support of the greatest ever wear the garnet and black, which I think is important. I do think it's important. So yeah, I say, why not, man? Why not roll the dice, see what happens?
Why not roll the dice? Why not drop the shirt? All aboard the Shane train.
Yeah.
I got to get back to work. Thanks for having me, man.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate the call. Love it. Thanks. Yeah, we'll definitely drop the shirts, guys, in the next 2 days or so. I'll get it obviously fixed, and we'll get it here. We're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and share the screen here. We do have Bobo's presser coming up in 3 minutes, so go ahead and share this. The shirt, by the way, is gonna be $29.99, which is, I know, a little more expensive than I normally charge. Which I want to do that for 2 reasons. Number one, have to pay for the graphics. The graphics are not free, so you got to charge a little more for the shirt. That was a graphic I had to pay for. Second thing, I want to be able to discount as we get closer to Christmas. So you can't discount when the shirt's $24.99 because I have to be able to make something off the T-shirt. And if I discount a $24.99 T-shirt, I literally lose money. So can't do it. That's just, the reality. So $29.99 for that shirt, I think, is very, very reasonable. So, but anyways, yeah. Yep. Old Sling Blade. Yep. Mike Bobo presser coming up here in 2 minutes or so.
All right, we are ready with Coach Bobo. He will make an opening statement, and then we'll open up for questions. Go ahead, Mike.
Okay, guys. Kentucky week.
Oh, here we go.
First off, I want to say, how impressed I am when I watch Kentucky on tape. Just not looking at records, just looking at how they play the game. I think they're a physical. I know they're a physical football team on both sides of the ball. Offensively, I think their line of scrimmage is one of the better lines scrimmages in the league. I love how their center plays. He's smart. He's physical. So obviously he calls all their calls up front and gets them in the right blocking schemes. They have very good running backs. He's 24 and 22. Chris Rodriguez and then Asim Rose. Those two guys are exceptional guys. They run behind their pads, run physical. Terry Wilson's a guy that can hurt you with his legs and his arm, but they're a physical football team on offense. And, you know, it's a mindset game for us defensively. We're going to have to be able to stop the run. We're going to have to be able to line up to the different things they do on offense. They do a lot of shifts, a lot of unbalanced formations where we got to make the right checks and get in the right gaps. Defensively, they base out of a 3-4 defense. You know, they've got aggressive guys outside that can run. Up front, they're huge. Says 357 pounds for 95. He looks about 370, but they got big guys in there that can anchor the point and two gap. And they've got guys that can fly around defensively. I think they're first or second in the league in interceptions. They do a great job because they play a lot of vision coverage, play a lot of zone. And if you're not accurate in your passes or try to push the ball downfield too much in zone coverage is where they get interceptions. The punter is an outstanding punter. And number 6, their leading receiver is a good returner. Coach Stoops has done a great job. I remember when he came into the league, I was still at the University of Georgia, and he's built that program, and he's built it around toughness. You know, I know they've had some COVID issues and had an opt-out yesterday. But I think we're all dealing with issues right now at every team. But we got an opportunity to play, and we're going to have to be ready because this is a physical football team, and we're going to have to play more physical than we've been playing to have a chance in Lexington on Saturday night. Questions?
David with the first one.
Hey, Mike, thanks for doing this. Were Shy, Ernest, and JJ able to practice?
Shy practiced in a yellow jersey. I think it's day 3 of his protocol. So he was non-contact and did practice, which is a good sign. JJ is out right now, and then Ernest is out.
Ben Reiner.
Mike, you mentioned kind of how tricky this defense can be. How much of a learning experience can that be for Luke going against kind of that odd front and some of the stuff that they do?
Well, I think we got to do a good job to help him in how we call plays, and our centers got to do a lot to help him get us in the right run schemes. We won't put a lot on him as far as getting us in and out of plays. I think we'll have to block the looks. We'll have a couple things that I feel he can handle, but I don't. You know, one thing you never want to do is you want to paralyze a guy where he cannot play fast and be instinctive. So. You know, what he can handle after we finish this week of preparation is what we'll take into the game. If it's something we feel like that he cannot handle or doesn't understand, then we won't call it. So we can control that.
Mike Yuba.
Mike, I know it's an individual honor, but I mean, when you have a guy like Kevin Harris being able to close in on a mark of 1,000 yards rushing, obviously that's something that isn't just about him. It's about the offensive line and everything that the offense has been able to do. What would that mean, you think, for this team, especially through everything they've been through these last couple of weeks?
Well, I think it's a goal that is on our kids' minds, and not just Kevin. It's something that the offense takes pride in, especially the offensive line and the running backs. They know how close he is and know you know, what he's meant to this football team offensively in the run game and the pass game. And they want to see him get to 1,000 yards. I think yesterday somebody said it was 2013 since the last time we've had 1,000-yard rusher here at South Carolina, and be able to do it, if we are be able to do it in a 10-game season against all SEC defenses, I think will be something that, you know, this offense can build on for the future.
Dick Cox.
Mike, did you ever think when you left Colorado State, when you became a head coach again, that Adam Prentice would be your fullback, starting fullback? And what does he mean to your offense?
Well, I think he's an unselfish player. First of all, you got to be unselfish to play the fullback position. I don't think he has a carry for the year. He's got a couple catches. You know, he's you know, and I've coached or been a part of offenses that have played fullbacks over the years, and they're usually you know, linebackers that maybe were a step slow that we moved over that might have been scholarship players, or a lot of times they're walk-on linebackers that you bring over, and they just want to do something to help the football team. And that's Adam Prentice. And then he's a starter on every special team. He's a valuable guy. He's been voted captain, you know, a couple times this year, maybe 3 times, 2 or 3 times. And I think the way he goes about his business every single day is the kind of guys you want on your football team. Whether we played with a fullback or not, you would want Adam Prentice on your team because he's a core special teams guy. He's an unselfish football player.
Colin Taylor.
Yeah, Mike, I'm just not asking you to reveal your game plan, but if Shy is in the game and is able to go, just how does that impact how you call a game, and what can you do more with him in there than without?
I mean, obviously, he's our number one receiving threat for us this year. So I think it will keep a defense a little bit more honest defensively. That they have to know where he lines up, and can keep maybe more of a coverage shell or someone a little bit higher in the post. Where if you didn't have him. And Georgia played some quarters last week, some two safeties looked, but the safeties were real aggressive. But if you've got a shot in there, and as much run game we're running can open up some of the play action passes to him and Nick Muse. Obviously, Nick was big last week off some play action stuff, but you get shot in there, that gives you another threat.
Ben. Ben Brenner.
Ben.
Hey, Mike. Sorry about that. In terms of, I know we talked a couple weeks ago about the potential bowl situation being with the weird rules. I wanted to ask, has Coach Tanner given you any update on that, and what's that kind of situation?
He has not, and I haven't asked. I'm focused on getting this team ready for Kentucky. And again, it's going to be a tough football game in some elements, and that's been our focus. We're trying to stay in the present. Every single day as a football team and as a coaching staff. And I know, it might be like, well, that's coach speak but that's the truth. We don't control making those decisions. We control getting ready for Kentucky and, reviewing this film and then getting ready to have a good practice tomorrow. And that's really the only way you can go about things, especially in this day, with everything going on. You're trying to keep these kids focused one day at a time.
Eric Boynton.
Yeah, hi, Mike. You just alluded to Kevin and the 10-game SEC schedule. Having two fewer games, playing all SEC opponents, would a 1,000-yard season be one of the better achievements in your mind that maybe you've witnessed or been around over the course of a year?
Yeah, there's no question. You're playing against SEC opponents every week. We have not been, a really that balance of a football team or have not been very proficient in the passing game. So, it has made running the ball a little bit more difficult. Now we've done a good job, running a few different schemes. Coaches have done a good job game planning. The players have done a good job adjusting. We've given, him a chance to be successful in some different type of runs. We've been creative in our run game is what I'm trying to say. But when you're pretty much, one-dimensional like we've been, and for him to do that against a whole SEC, schedule, I think that speaks volumes of, this offensive group and what they've done, and obviously him. And I said it last week, we've done a good job up front and tight ends and receivers blocking to get him to the second level untouched, and we've all seen his speed. But I think what he did last week is going to give him even more confidence, how he ran behind his pads and broke tackles. When he can do that on a consistent basis, and then when we give him, a crack and get him in the second level and he can have explosive plays like he's had this year, I think he's got a bright future. And he's got good ball skills, catching the ball out of the backfield, and he's been a good protector. And Kevin's not a guy that doesn't say a lot. He comes to work. He came out of spring, down on the depth chart because of injury and really not getting a lot of time in it with his groin. I think he had in the 5 days, and then, basically went to work, didn't say anything, and proved himself. And I said this the other night on a call. I think Coach Kitchens has done a really nice job with all those backs, holding them to a standard of what we expect here of how to play running back, and those guys have responded. And you've seen pretty good running back play by our group.
Dick Cox.
With all the teams been through this year, would you personally like to see them get the opportunity to play another game against somebody other in the SEC?
Well, I mean, I think, if you're a competitor, you want to play anytime you have an opportunity. And that was my message today to the guys. If you're a competitor, you don't worry about everything that's going around you. And, it's easy to say, we don't have this, we don't have that, our coach is not here. We're playing in, 29-degree weather at 7:30. I mean, there's a ton of things, but if you're a competitor, you step up and you answer a challenge and you own the situation you're in, you go to work. So if you have an opportunity to play, competitors want to play, and if we didn't want to play, then, that would tell you that we ain't got enough competitors here in South Carolina to be competitive.
David?
Mike, I know that you coached in cold weather for 5 years before coming here, but a lot of your guys here probably haven't played in it. How does that affect your game plan, planning to go up there where it might be really cold and might be snow on the ground?
Well, cold weather has, I've coached in it in 5 years. I think it's a mindset. Obviously, it was a little chilly this morning. We went outside. That was the first thing I talked about in the team meeting of what the weather's going to be. And this is going to be a weather game, and it's going to be a physical game. And we got to have the right mindset. We can't be shocked when we get out there and it's cold. We got to go play. The cold never really, it's when it's cold and maybe windy. The wind probably affects your play calling more than anything. If the wind, and I've read the weather reports, I don't see the wind being that much of a factor. 8 to 10 miles an hour on the weather report I looked at last night. But it could, if it gets slick out there. If it's snow to ice and it's a little, I mean, it could be. And I think protecting the ball is going to be huge in all areas. Points are going to be valuable if it's that type of weather game, so like we talked about field goal block, we get an opportunity to score, we got to score. If we get an opportunity to possibly either block an extra point or block a field goal, those could be big momentum plays. So we talked about that today, how, every possession is going to be important. Taking care of the ball is going to be important. And then the biggest thing is mindset. They got a lot, I know they live in Kentucky. I don't think it's been that cold up there, but they got a lot of players from the South too on Kentucky's team. So they're going to have to play in that weather as well.
Rick Henry.
Hey, Coach, a little earlier, you mentioned about trying to keep the guys focused. I was just wondering, is maybe it a little tougher to keep some of them focused because of mental fatigue, just how trying this season is? Because we know how you can get beat up physically, but with everything going on this year, some of the guys maybe just getting a little mentally fatigued.
I think so. I think it's been a long season. It's been a tough season, and things don't always go the way you want them. And sometimes, physical issues are going to happen every year in a season, like you just mentioned. But sometimes, the mental things can weigh on you more than anything. And, and we talked about that today. Frustration can lead to more frustration and can basically paralyze you. But if you try to separate that thing and focus on the task at hand, every single day, and embrace the challenge that you have, because you're going to have challenges for the rest of your life. They don't realize that this is the best time in their life right now in college. When we take care of them and we feed them and we clothe them, and they're going to, before long, they're going to have a job and they're going to have a family. They're going to have a wife looking at them, when they come home, and asking them a bunch of questions, and they got to provide. And I mean, things might not go right, whether it's with your job, with your family, with your health, with, family members' health. And so, everybody has challenges. Sometimes we tend to look at our own self and think we have the biggest problems in the world, and everybody's dealing with them. So, I just constantly harping that. And, and to be honest, it's been harder this year because it's harder to hold them accountable when the NCAA allows people to opt out at any time. And there's no consequences. No, you can't hold them accountable. Yes, it was for COVID, but now, there's opt-outs every other week, and there's nothing to hold them accountable for. Stay on scholarship, you get your cost of living. It's been tough, and it's been a challenge. And we're not the only people dealing with it. Every coach in America is dealing with it. So, I'm not, like I told him, I'm not going to cry about it. I'm not going to cry about the situation that we're in. I'm here. I don't know for how much longer, but I'm here right now, and I expect to have a great practice and get ready to go kick, Kentucky's butt.
Adam boy, Bobo.
Yeah, Mike, 2 questions. Do you know who's going to start at left tackle this weekend?
I do.
Are you sharing that, or are you going to keep that a secret?
No, you'll probably see both guys. I don't know who's going to start yet. Okay.
And I guess on the TV broadcast, they talked about Luke Doty Thursdays. I'm curious, can you kind of share how that came about?
Sometimes I'm a negative person. I kind of, I'm always, and I'll be positive and in a meeting. Sometimes I'm always harping on the little things that we got to do right. And so a while back, I was coaching at another place. I decided to make Thursday positive Thursday. We're going to be positive. I'm going to say nothing positive. We're getting right, So it's always been positive Thursday for me on Thursdays to get myself right going into Saturday. But when I came here, Luke Doty, it doesn't matter whether he threw a pick or he misread something. He is the most positive guy in the world. So I changed it to, Luke Doty Thursday because he's positive. That's the story.
Mike Gillespie.
I don't know if you realize this, but hey, can you hear me? You got me? I don't know if you realize this, but Kentucky and Carolina are the only 2 teams in the SEC that are playing their 10th game this weekend. If I would have told you that at the beginning of this season, what would you have said to me? Well,
that's stuff that's not in our control. You're going to have tests, and you're going to, if somebody tests positive and you got contact tracing, you got to see what the doctors say, see who's going to be there. And so there could be some cancellations, and sometimes it's not in your control with another team. I think we've been, I wouldn't have thought that, I think it's a credit to, the SEC and everybody being structured, being organized. Obviously, Kentucky has had some issues and played probably close to the number last couple of weeks. And I think you get to this point, you're like, we're gonna keep playing. If you got some of these teams that are going to stretch out and play games to December 19th. Have 3 more games. In a season that's already been so long that somebody asked that question. The mental side of it for these players. I wouldn't have thought it. But here we are right now. Knock on wood, we got one more test on Thursday. And our goal is to get this game in and go up there and compete. But I didn't think we'd make it this far, to be honest.
Ben Briner.
Mike, you kind of talked a little bit about guys having the opportunity to opt out and all that. And I guess what do you learn about Shai and the fact that it's been a rough season and he's still fighting to come back? A lot of guys in his situation probably would have opted out or at least sort of loafed their way through the end of it. And what do you kind of learn about him with the way he's approaching it this week?
Well, I'm proud of Shai. I've mentioned it a couple times when I've talked to you guys. I haven't talked to you guys a lot except for the last 3 weeks. But Shai is a guy that we challenged when we got here. Told him what we needed, out of him to help this football team and for himself to be successful. And Coach Cox has done a really good job with him. He's done a good job, and we're trying to game plan yesterday, and went and found him and talked to him, and he said I'm trying to go, and ultimately it's the doctor's decision. You don't play when it's dealing with head injuries, and we'll see what they say. But I'm excited. He was out there. I didn't think he was going to do as much as he did today, and I think it's kind of what I talked about the seniors. Your legacy is not going to be in wins. Your legacy is going to be how you fight through adversity. How do you pass down to the younger guys when things aren't going good? How do I work? How do I go about my business? And I think Shai's a really good example of that. I told him earlier in the year, I don't need you to be the team leader. I need you to be a good teammate and come to work every day. And I think your play, if you do that, will have a chance to be exceptional. And I think he's been a very good player for us. And another guy I want to mention is Darius Rush, who was out for 2 weeks for COVID. Here's a guy that was on scout team at the beginning of the year, but he played on special teams. He just went to work every day. He had a role on special teams. He has an injury, and they give him the option to have surgery during the year or wait till after the season. He says, I'm waiting after the season. And this guy was just a gunner and ran down on kickoff. I want to play. I got a role. I want to help South Carolina try to win ball games. He had COVID. He easily could say, hey, I'm done for the year. He's back. He was back today. He had practiced 50% of the practice. He should be cleared for all the practice tomorrow. And he'll have a big role for us in Saturday. And you can't say enough about those guys. I made a point to mention that to the team today about Darius Rush. And he's excited to be here. Excited. He's embracing the challenge. That's what you want. You got to have more guys like that if you want to be a competitive football team.
Eric Boynton.
Yeah, Mike, have you had any discussions yet with Colin Hill about whether he plans to return next year? And would you expect that after all he's been through, to all these comebacks he's made, that he's likely to play as long as there's an opportunity for him to play somewhere?
I have not in a while had a discussion with him about that. I think that's something that he'll probably sit down with him and his family and figure out the best opportunity for him. Whether it's here or whether it's moving on and trying to play at the next level or so another school. I haven't had that conversation with him.
Dick Cox.
I know you've coached in a lot of cold weather games and you're used to it. Now, are you one of these guys who are going to break out all the thermal gear and stay nice and warm? Or are you one of these tough coaches that'll wear a short sleeve shirt or just a sweatshirt?
Well, it's kind of, in Colorado, I wore shorts sometimes when it was cold and wore short sleeves in like 10-degree weather when we played Utah State one time, just to prove to the guys that it's not that cold. It's going to be cold. We realize that, and they'll have stuff. They make all this nice stuff that Under Armour makes that keeps you warm. The main thing is they won't wear sleeves if they touch the ball. And as far as me, I won't have a lot on. But people don't realize this. When I got sick, I lost a lot of feeling in my, hands and my feet. My feet are still numb. So, when it gets cold, it used to be your feet get first thing that gets cold. See, I can't feel my feet anyway. So people think I'm tough, but I have some nerve issues where cold weather doesn't bother me right now.
Hillman Granion.
I guess sort of on that subject, what was your coldest game that you played in? Do you remember the number and if there was snow on the ground or any of those kind of?
I played in. I don't even remember a cold game that I played in. I cannot even remember one that we played that was really, really cold that it bothered me. Now, the last 5 years coaching in some, there's been some cold ones, especially in Laramie. One in Colorado Springs that was extremely, extremely cold. The humidity's not bad out there. So if the sun's out, the cold weather's not that bad. When that sun goes down, that wind picks up, it can get a little cold out there. But as a player, I cannot even think of a cold weather game that I was like, oh, this would be miserable.
Yeah, I think Adam Prentice was saying a little earlier when he was in here that y'all were playing at Wyoming and there wasn't any snow in the first half, and at halftime y'all came back out and there was snow on the ground.
Yeah, I showed that to the defensive coaches a few weeks ago. I said, just pull up the game and just first half, click a play, and then go to the second half. It was like I thought it was a blizzard. Of course, those people up there, they said this isn't a blizzard. This is just normal. But it was an unbelievable football game. It turned into a weather game. It was basically inside drill the whole second half, and I never forget. I'm on the headset, and I said, I wish we had some quarterback run game in this game. And then that fourth quarter, Wyoming basically went to quarterback run with Josh Allen, and we couldn't stop him because they had extra. It's both teams are loading the box, and the guy with the team with the quarterback run ended up winning that game. It was wish we could have won, but it was one of those classic games because of snow and just I mean it was a brutal game.
I guess both teams on Saturday will have that luxury of the quarterback run game.
Both teams will have a luxury of a quarterback run game. They've have a lot more reps and experience at it than we do. That's what they do. That's kind of how they built their offense. Now they do have really, really good passing schemes off of their run action, and a lot of four vertical stuff, a lot of switch verticals, a lot of getting backs and putting them on wheel routes and things that we've got to be good with our eyes and in the back end. And we did some of that stuff last week in the passing game and hit some of them, and we missed some of them. But hopefully we'll be a little bit better this week, second time around.
Eric Boynton.
Yeah, Mike, obviously you're going to call plays to try to win the ball game, and Kevin, it's always a huge part of your approach. But will it be in the back of your mind at all on the sideline that he's so close to 1,000? Will that factor in if maybe you can get him an extra carry here, there, that type of deal?
You can't approach a game like that in the game. Now, this is a certain part of a game in the game when the game's out of hand, and you might say, "What's he at?" He needs another carry, but you're playing a game and you're trying to win the game, and I think he'll have an opportunity, Eric, because he's such a vital part of our offense, and with Fenwick down. And being the last game, he'll have enough carries to have that opportunity.
Anything else for Coach Bobo? No hands.
All right, guys. Thanks.
We'll see it.
All right. All right. That is Mike Bobo. Nothing crazy. Nothing crazy there from Bobo, I don't think. Kentucky week. Hopefully Kevin Harris does it at 1,000-yard mark. Would love to see it. Would obviously love to see it. So needs to happen. So yeah. Anyways, Fenwick had COVID. That's why he wasn't playing last week, and so I'm assuming he's got to be out 2 weeks or whatever the protocol says. But yeah, I don't know. So let's see, Justin. I hope we get our football culture back and we get a quarterback with a Steve Tannehill mullet. What's more Gamecock than that? Or the famous home run he hit on Clem Sucks on the 50-yard line. Forgive me. I'm excited to see where we go with the new head coach. Yeah, I agree for sure. Now I'm excited. I'm excited for this next era, this next chapter of Gamecock football, if you will. So yeah. So you guys probably saw some people compare Mike Bobo to Sling Blade, and we actually had somebody send me a clip of what Bobo sounds like.
Hey, Chris, I wanted to call you since we was friends and all. Yep, Kentucky has some big boys. They eat a lot of biscuits there, I reckon. Yeah, I heard you ask about Shy. Yeah, Shy practiced today, but we had him wear a mustard-colored jersey so he wouldn't get hit. Hey, did you know I like biscuits and mustard?
Oh man, great stuff. Oh man. Courtney Washington, Chris, I wish we'd get up and talk some Gamecock football one day on a Saturday. Yeah, we'd love to. Again, it sucks. Obviously, no more home games. But yeah, no, it's funny because I had never seen Sling Blade, and I look at the movie, and Mike Bobo does indeed look like that guy. So it's wild. Justin Gant says Birch broke 2 fingers. I was around his dad when he got his call to go to the hospital. Just fantastic. More good news for the good guys. Let's see. Billy Rabin, do you think Lloyd stays? I do. I think he will stay. Yeah, I think Lloyd will be back next year. Yeah, I think he knows he's going to be a focal point of this offense, and I think the next head coach obviously is going to stress that. So, yes, I think he will be back. Yeah. I think he'll be back for sure. So, again, guys, really good stuff today. We got about a minute left. So, going to go ahead and wrap it up, close things up again. If you haven't done so, check out the podcast that dropped this morning. Alex McGrath and I, episode 329, we talk the Georgia game, Kentucky game, look ahead, obviously the ongoing coaching search, a lot to get into. Also, guys, thank you so much, by the way. I forgot to mention this at the beginning. Thank you so much for making November yet again another record-breaking month. I will post the official statistics probably later today, but we broke the previous record in October. We broke that record yet again in podcast downloads. We shattered the record for website views in November, guys, so thank you so much for the love, support. We hit 1,000 subs on YouTube. I mean, just a great month overall, guys. So thank you so much for the love, support. Watch party this Saturday as well at Overtime Bar and Grill. We'll be doing the pregame show live from there, 6:30 to 7. Kickoff at 7:30. Last game of the season. You guys come on out. Great food and drinks, great people, great venue. Be sure to come on out, guys. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll do it again tomorrow, noon to 1. Talk to you then.